And the thing I haven't shown you yet is putting in strain relief for these guys. To do that, simply take the hot glue gun and put hot glue on where the wires are. And we may want to take a stir stick and hold that down in place. Of course, that insulates it as well. And give that a few minutes to dry. You can see that I've got all of them on here now. The final step is to put on connectors for these three. For the low power connectors, I put female ends on. For the high power ones, I put male connectors on, and of course swap them on the layout. That way somebody can't plug one into the wrong one accidentally. So I've tested each of these and the switches work. Found out something interesting. Take one of these guys and position it down in the hole. Use the crimping tool to push it down there. Make sure it's not too far. Then insert this guy. So take one of the wires, insert the wire far enough so the crimp will be over the insulation, and then press down like that. Then pull that out, double check, make sure everything looks good, and it does. Okay. Reload this. Put the next one in. Double check that one. Yeah, looks good enough. And I'll keep doing those. Alright, after crimping all these on, the next step is to put these guys on. But before I do, these have a little locking tab on them, and I want to remove that locking tab. I want it to be a little easier to push in and out. So we just cut the little piece off here. And we test fitted on a female. There we go. That's all I wanted. Okay. Next up, we need to insert these. And we want to have it so that the same side is always positive, so that's that side positive. Double check this. Okay, the side that's positive is that side there, so that fits in like this. And it's got to just fit in enough to click in, and then it's solid. Means the other one's negative. And then these are the ones that are going to go on the layout. Those will just go like that. And they still fit snug. Okay, the other thing I did with these is I made sure that the positive was always on the same side regardless. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to create a test for this. And so I need some more LEDs to do that. So I'm going to make up test plugs with each of these so I can plug them in and test them. We are ready to test. There's a 12 volt tester and a 3 volt tester. So we'll hook up our power supply over here. And then we'll plug in. We just have bare wires here, but we can plug it into our 12 volt power supply. Thusly, and of course nothing happens because nothing's hooked up. Make sure everything's turned off. And let's start with one of these, which is the lower voltage. And we turn it on and we have a light. And if I adjust the potentiometer, there, that's real bright, and then that goes down to that level. So that's its max brightness. Turn the switch off. So that one works fine. Let's plug in the next one. And it's off. Turn it on. We'll go to max bright. You can see how it gets dim and then it gets max bright. So we'll turn it down a bit. I'm going blind just looking at this. Turn it off. Unplug it. That tester works well. Let's plug in the next one, which is the 3 LED strip. Turn it on. Max bright down to min. So rheostat's working on that. Turn it off. Unplug that one. Let's try the next one. Off. On. Yeah, that's max bright. And we can tune it down. Turn it off. Plug that. Let's go to the last one. Turn it on. Looks like max bright. Turn it down. Turn it up. So you can see this is my other test one. Anyway, so the test works, everything works. Everything's going as it should. So what that means is this guy is now fully ready to go in. Other than I'm going to put some hot glue right in there just to make sure that's insulated. Okay, so I'll turn it off. There you go. That's now all ready to go. Here's the power coming in from the other table. Distributes here, comes across here. There's one breakout here. That goes to this panel. You can see this buck converter is lit. This here is a, oh, we'll follow this along first. This cable link goes all the way back to here and plugs in here. This buck converter is working, so this gives power to the front two buildings. So if we go over here, you can see that that guy's lit and that guy's lit. And if I turn them off, they get turned off. Coming back from here, you can see from this panel there's a 12 volt, because it's red, power supply going to here. I'll tack this guy down later. There's another 12 volt power supply that's going from this guy through to here, so we'll turn that on and that on. And if we go through here, you can see the coal chute hopper is lit, and I can turn that off with this. And then you can see this engine house is lit, and I can turn that off with that. So next up, I have to tie together this wire, this wire, this wire, and this wire. And we'll lead them through here, and we'll put them on here, and that'll do the lighthouse. Then I have each of these to do. That's this wire combined with this wire is one of them. And then this wire combines with this wire and this wire for the other one. I think that's how it works. So we've got a bit more work to do on that. So let's go over what we have here. Way over on the side here, we have power coming from the first table to the second table. Then we have a power going in here to this distribution unit. We only have one feed at this time, that's all we needed. And this feeds into this distribution block and through there, and it also comes along here and feeds into this distribution block through there. These control this guy and this guy, all of the switches. This is a buck converter, this is a buck converter here if you can see it. Drops the power from 12 volts down to 3. These red areas are 12 volt outputs. These are 3 volt outputs, the green, so a 12 and a 3. And each of these has an on-off toggle switch, plus a potentiometer to be able to dim the lights if desired. And so way over here, we have 2 switches, and I'll show you on top what those control. Over here we have 5 switches, and I'll show you what those control. Right now what I'm doing is I'm using the hot glue gun to get some of these wires in place. And so we have a bunch of wires coming down here. And I just don't want the wires hanging there, because if the wires hang there, then what'll happen is somehow they'll get caught. So if I just do a bit of glue here, doesn't have to be a lot. This glue gun needs to heat up a little more. Takes a bit to get started sometime. It says it's green. Here, I'll make it red. I'll make it go even hotter. So what I need is that to get secured in place. I want that secured in place. I want that secured in place. This one, the only one that's removable is this one. All the rest of these just need to be secured down. That down. Now what I want to show you here is, I'll take this off first, it's kind of in the way. I'll show you the top of the layout, and you'll see this more later. But you can see all the lit buildings, and like these guys are removable, some aren't, but you can even see way down there. Let me flip this around. Look at how it's even bending a little bit there, but the building is staying firm. So even though you shake this, all these buildings that are removable stay firm because of the magnets. And we're going to clean up and put this thing in its normal mode. There, that's what it looks like. The track's pretty dirty, but we got a train running around. You can see how stuff is lit up. I need to swap direction here in a minute. Okay, that'll take the second reverse loop. And we'll come back around here and go on to the siding track. And then we'll head all the way down to the lit buildings at the end. So now we're all the way down there. Can see those. And we'll come back out of there. We'll head back around to the engine repair facility. It flickers because the track's really dirty. I haven't cleaned it since I've done all the repair work. You can see how it comes onto the fourth line there. And then you can head over to the turntable. The turntable won't hold both of these, and it's dead there anyway because the turntable needs to be in position. And put a potentiometer on the bottom, I think, as well as for this one. There's the sign that I did. It shows I've had power on for an hour and 40 minutes. This guy's lit. This one isn't. And, you know, maybe an LED flash showing that, maybe some outside lights. The way it's constructed, it's pretty hard to do inside lights, so that's a future thing. On this table, this guy, of course, is lit. This is the removable one with magnets, so if I do that, you can see it's removable. Then it just repositions right where it needs to go. These two guys are lit. This one has no lights because there's no window. You can see the upper lights in here, and then the floodlights going down. No light on there. The front here, you can see these two guys are both lit. You can look inside there and see there's not much. Of course, you can see this is all nicely lit up. From the back, there's a couple of windows. The other thing we did here with this is fully removable. So for display purposes, if we want to show what's inside, we can easily do that. You can see these are the lights that were put in. I think they actually do a pretty good job of lighting it up. So the other thing now, of course, is some kind of yard lighting facility, but again, this is all future. Same here, yard lighting, future. We have a building coming here that one of our members is working on, and that'll be probably about yay big or so. And we'll put lights in that as well, and then we'll try and figure out how to do some lighting. I do want to get some in here, and we'll just have to figure out how that goes. Then there's a mountain there. There's a mountain there with area for houses. It won't be a big house like that. We'll use smaller houses in there, and I think just a town in there. And then, as per earlier discussions, we'll move these out of the way. I want to do a little parking lot in here, a road that comes across here, snakes around. This is the end of table 2, so I need to build the road to here, and then a road that kind of winds around and goes up to the townstead, and another up to the urban area where people live, or the rural area, and then into the urban area where I think we'll do a town. But that's where it's at now.